What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. Bye, singing dog. Bye, goal.
I pronounce you.
Bye, wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hey kids, it's kind of like a reproduction of myself, only it's really me all over again. Just when you thought you didn't have enough fun this last hour with Miss Courtney Rashawn, which was, by the way, incredibly lovely. Thank you so much to West Levy PR for giving me such a lovely compliment about the radio show. I appreciate that very much. Today, very nervous to be hosting this gal. Let me tell you why. I've met her, I've seen her power, and I know what she's capable of. And she does a lot of horror stuff, and frankly, I was looking at her pictures today. It kind of freaks me out. Her name is Victoria Stevens. She is absolutely lovely. She is a dancer. She's an actress. She's a model. She's a mom. She's about 800 things. And she's calling me, so I don't want to leave her on hold for too long. So without further ado, let's get Victoria on the line and start our interview. Is this Victoria?
Yes, it is. How are you?
Oh, my gosh. I'm so excited and so nervous. I'm really nervous right now. I'm like totally nervous. I'm totally nervous. I was just telling our listening audience. I'm telling you right now, I was telling everybody right off the bat, I'm like, the chick scares me. Let me tell you why. I was on Facebook today. You go on Victoria's Facebook page. I have small children. Okay, my 9-year-old looked at you in the last role you did, and he's like, Mom, that's gross. And he's like, when she's on the radio, tell her it's gross for kids to see that. So I'm like, you're like, poor honey, it's okay. You like totally freak my child out. He's probably going to be therapeutic for God knows how long because of Victoria Stevens. Thanks a lot.
Oh, my gosh.
I couldn't help it. I was, like, researching you. So I'm, like, on Facebook, and I'm looking, and he's, like, drinking his hot chocolate, and he's like, ew, why does she do that? And I'm like, but, honey, that's her job. And he's like, but it's gross. And I'm like, okay, I'll tell her. So you have a gross job, according to my kids. But you love what you do. I've seen you do what you do. And I'm so excited. I have news and surprises today. Oh, it's going to be exciting. I can't stand it. So we're going to go all over the map with you today. The first thing I want to talk about, though, is extremely serious. Listen to this, kids. She used to work for Walt Disney World Resort. I got amazingly excited. I'm like, we have to talk about Walt Disney. What's going on with the Walt Disney? What were you doing there?
It was wonderful. I was actually a bellhop at Tower of Terror. So I got to basically get paid to creep people out.
Okay.
So I operated the ride. I also worked for Beauty and the Beast, and I also worked for Fantasmic.
Oh, my God, look at that. Now, how did you score a gig like that? Is that something you wanted to do, or they found you, or what happened?
Well, I did audition for a princess role, and because I'm too tall for princesses, so I couldn't do that, which is fine.
Okay.
And they said, well, why won't you try for the Disney program? And I said, sure. So before I left college, I did a Disney program just as a fun thing because I was already graduating anyway. And then because of that, they loved me so much that they said, well, why don't you become seasonal? And so I did the Disney college program into seasonal. So I would go back and forth, and I would work up here in Jersey, and then I would go down to Florida, and then I'd come back up again. So it was wonderful. Well, the funny thing is I had at that point worked at Wawa as well. And I had one guest come in and say, it's so scary. He said, there's somebody who looks just like you do down in Florida. And I looked at him and I said, no, that actually was me.
How funny is that? Oh, my God.
It was wonderful.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Now, okay, because I thought about that, and I said to myself, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Is that something like a return gig that you might go back to? Because it almost sounds like you're not done with that. You know what I mean? Like you had such a great time. Right. Love to do it again.
I enjoyed it so much. I definitely will go back. I don't know the brain because I'm really striving for TV shows here and feature films. But when I do have a slower down time, then I probably would go back. At first I thought it would ruin the magic, but it just enhances the magic of the whole Disney World experience. So I enjoyed it very much.
Oh, that's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Now, I noticed something. One of the similarities that Victoria and I have in common, one of many I might add, is the fact that You seem to have a huge affinity, like I have a huge affinity for New York City. So anybody who follows me knows that I will go there at the drop of a hat. I'm coming there tomorrow, as a matter of fact. I just love it. The city, the culture, the people. I have a second family there. It's absolutely amazing to me. You seem to have that same sort of love life or love connection, rather, with LA. So I wanted to ask about that because I know you go back and forth between LA and New York. I didn't know if you had an affinity for it just because of the acting opportunities or what's the connection that keeps you so grounded between both places?
I think definitely the acting opportunities keeps me from going to moving out there because I still want to keep my connections here in New York.
Sure.
But the atmosphere is so much different over in LA than it is in New York. It's a bigger grinding atmosphere in New York than over in LA. Everyone's very much, they're just chill, I guess you could say. People are very much enjoying. It's so funny because I always say when I was over in LA, I enjoyed Starbucks coffee. I was like, how can you enjoy that when you've had it? And then over in New York, you're just racing to grab it real fast and go. So it was really funny because I enjoyed just sitting and talking to people when I was in LA. In New York, you have that time frame that you're always on.
Oh, God,
yeah. That was the difference. Oh, my goodness, it was so different. But then, I always say, if you could survive in New York, you could survive anywhere. So.
I know, right? Okay, see, now I thought I was crazy because I'm not a native New Yorker. I'm going to move there in 8 years or so. And every time I go there, even when I plan everything out and I think, okay, well, it's going to be nice and more relaxed and comfortable because I have a plan. Oh, my God, hell no. You get there, it's subway to train to this, and you're running. You know this. You're running from point A to point B to point C. It can get a little maddening. Yeah. It's exciting, but it's maddening. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Well, it's crazy because there was one time that I went up to New York without any agenda, and I felt like I didn't know what to do. I was like, wait a second, what am I doing up here?
No, I know.
It was confusing.
Oh, my gosh, that is and it's so true, though, and it is. And I'll tell you, that kind of leads as a segue into the next question I had for you, because you had made a comment, you had said how much, and you've said it on a number of times, that you love the actor's life. So because most people that are on my show are either actors or whatever, you're used to that life. So my listeners aren't necessarily. So when you're referring to the actor's life, give them a little glimpse into that, meaning, some people will say actors, they love their craft, but the work, the business end of it sucks, you know what I mean? Because I don't think people realize how many casting calls you have to go to, how much rejection you have to live through. So talk a little bit about the good and the bad side, especially to those that might want to be pursuing a career in acting someday.
Sure. Well, I'll work on the good side first. For instance, the day I came back from LA, I had my boyfriend pick me up from the airport. We raced home to get my makeup and some costuming, and I raced all the way to New York City to shoot a TV pilot. And so at that point, I could tell I could be in 3 states in one day and have acting on both sides of the coast. That's the best part of being an actress. You get to do a lot of things. You're traveling, you're exploring, you have different characters and different relationships to portray. And, I feel like it's just, you never know what you're going to do that day, and it's always at the spur of the moment sometimes. So you always have to be on your feet because you never know where you're going to fly to or where you're going to go to.
Right.
So that's the positive end of things. The negative end of things is as an actress, you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have, those times where you're like, oh, my gosh, I can never get any acting roles. And then you're going to have those other times that you're constantly busy and you don't know what to do with yourself because you're so busy and you don't know which lines go to which film. And I have, 8 scripts in my head, and you're like, wait, which one am I doing right now? Who am I being right now? So that does get a little challenging. Another time is when it is slow. You have to learn, what you can do to make things, keep it with your connections and going to classes and keeping yourself motivated and upbeat for the times when those films and projects are going to be coming your way. There's no downtime as an actress. Even though it feels down, there's no downtime. You have to constantly be marketing, constantly be networking, and constantly be out there showing your craft, and even sometimes creating your own so people can see who you are and what you can bring to the project. Because if you don't tell people and if you don't show people, then they're not going to know. And they're not going to think about, oh, maybe I should give this woman a try. I don't know who she is, but I'll try. They're not going to be like that. You have to show them.
Exactly. And I do know that some of the individuals that have come on my show before have specifically stated that it is so vitally or crucially important for each individual actor or actress to set themselves apart in some way, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, etc. One of the things that I found really interesting about your profile is that it clearly states that you can actually cry on cue. Is that you can seriously cry on cue? How do you do that?
Yeah, I always say that that's the bad thing about dating me because I can always I can always cry on cue when I need something. But yeah, I say that a lot. But yeah, when I have created the craft of being able to bring the tears up when I need to. It's that emotional recall, it's called, and basically I've already prepped the emotion to bring it up when I need it. It's a practice. You have to practice it. But once you get it up to par, you always have that in your toolbox to make sure that you have it on cue. There's many times where I have cried and needed to for projects. But then also, once I cry for the purpose of actually feeling the character crying, that's the target. Not actually forcing myself to cry, but actually feel it as oh my gosh, I should be, this character's crying. I'm crying. This is crazy. We're connected, and that's the best part. I love that connection.
Oh, that's awesome. That is absolutely awesome because I said that to myself. I'm like, how does a person train themselves to be able to do that? But, of course, that's all part of the craft, obviously. It goes without saying. Mm-hmm. One of the things that we had just had a conversation about, myself and actually another director not so long ago, so I'm always curious to get an actor's input on this. There are some actors on one side of the fence that praise and hail independent film as saying this is the new up and coming. I know that you're heavily involved in the independent film side of things. So my question to you is do you feel that Hollywood has become, trying to think of the right word, not saturated necessarily, but just so commercialized and so big budgeted and so it almost is impossible for the average actor to break into big mainstream Hollywood anyway nowadays? It seems as though the going trend is everybody does independent films, doing their own projects. Talk to us a little bit about your opinion, your thoughts on that.
I think for independent films, the TV pilots, I actually think it's actually good to get involved in them because you never know what the network thinks is going to be good for the TV or what the network, with different films are going to be good to, put out there in the movie theaters. And I have 2 pilots right now that are independent, but they had so many good concepts, a thought that they didn't, nobody had thought about, that I think they could easily be picked up. And then they're already then turned into mainstream. So I guess what I would say is, you never know what's going to be turned into mainstream and what's not. So you never know, I would pick out projects that I feel like I enjoy the character or I think that the casting or the director has potential to create these connections that will help lead to the mainstream. So I don't think, and I think every actor could become mainstream. It's just the right time, the right project, and the right person to see it.
You betcha. Gotcha. Okay. Now, to all of us who know her, I should say, one of the big priorities on Victoria's list, of course, is to get the lead role in terms of in a horror film or horror production. First off, I found this cute little thing. Here's Victoria on her page, and she's saying something to the effect of, do you know what the scariest part about this was while being on set today? Is that all these people are getting shot, et cetera, says the woman who is on a horror film set 90% of the time. I just found that so funny. I'm like, oh, my gosh. So tell me, how often does the horror queen herself actually get scared when she's on set? Because I would assume, I'd be petrified to be going on these sets, man. And I'm just saying, I can barely make it through a horror movie. And I've seen some of the productions you've been in, and I'm like, how do you stand there and shoot all day? Don't you ever get freaked out?
I actually worked for Terror Behind the Walls, which is a haunted prison that they have in Philadelphia. And we haunted the prison. It's a Halloween thing. But I feel that there really are ghosts there. Things happen there that are unexplained, lights coming off, you feel a shiver down your spine. So those types of environments, you can get a little creeped out, okay, I'm not going anywhere in there. I'm going to act from this side, So for the live entertainment, I feel like there's different parts where they put you in. Whereas, there could be a different, an afterlife that we don't know about over there. But for horror films, I mean, I think there's a couple of horror films that you could get wrapped around in the story, because once you're finally really believe that you're the character, that's when your whole being takes over. So if they actually do a really good job with making the set look believable, then you can get lost in your character, and that way your character's feeling exactly what you're feeling, creeped out.
Okay.
And I think that's where once you can make that connection with your character, then anything could freak you out.
Oh, sure. I can imagine so, definitely. And one of the things that I've noticed about your work, and this is just a personal observation, but I'm guessing you've probably heard this before, is the level of intensity by which you delve into something. I mean, you're not, in my opinion, you're not the actress that just walks in and kind of fills things out a little bit. I mean, she goes literally from like, I'm sitting right here and I'm very calm and sweet Victoria to I'm badass, don't mess with me, look at that look in my eyes, I'll kill you in 30 seconds sort of thing. You have a high level of intensity. So is that something as an actor that you prepare for, or are you able to just switch into character automatically, and can you jump out of character just as quickly?
For different characters where intensity lies, like anger or something, that I actually have worked very hard on. So I could jump in and out of character. If the character is shy or uneasy, that works a little bit harder because that's a different emotion you don't really like to show a lot. So you're actually trying to really understand when you actually feel that as a person, what is bringing that on. So anger is just an easier, it's always a cover-up. For any emotion that you're feeling, anger comes out first. You know, if you're sad, if you're hurt and stuff, anger will show first before you actually feel the other emotions. So anger in itself is easier to come in and out of. And it all depends on the different other emotions, how well you prep it, and how well you know your character in order to bring out the different layers. Because each character is not just one layer. You have many layers to a character and what they're feeling.
Right.
And that's why, anger is the easier one to portray.
No, I totally get it. Well, and that's just it, because the interesting part is, of course, you had already prefaced your boyfriend. To those that don't know, she obviously you have a child as well, you're a mom. And so I'm just curious about that, because I'm like, she can't just go shooting and then go home and then her little boy's like, oh, my God, I'm freaking out because my mom's all, bad or evil or in that mode where she's like, yeah, I just killed someone. Hi, honey, I love you. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, how it is with the kids and stuff like that. Now, does your son, because he's younger, does he have an appreciation or an understanding of what mommy actually does? Because I suppose for him, this is hard to grasp.
Yeah, well, I'm one of those outgoing mothers, so when I'm done a horror set, sometimes I'll keep the makeup on and come home and knock on the door.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God, you were awful.
No, I did break I share that gap, and he freaks out, but then when I take the makeup off, he sees the other side. So he knows it's makeup. But I do that scary. It's just, he's funny with it. Now he expects it, like, oh, what's mom going to do now, So I do show some of I bring home my job sometimes just to show him the difference. I probably don't show him my films I'm in because it's too much for him at that point. But if he wants to get older and see them, well, we'll get there when he gets older. But
right, that's kind of what I thought, of course, obviously, and of course because his mom does what she does. Now, is he showing? Does he have a creative side to him, or is he kind of filling things out? Because I know he's little.
Believe it or not, he actually has a dancing side to him.
Oh my God!
I did Zumba through my whole pregnancy, so he knows. Like, when he was moving around in my stomach, so I knew he was into the dancing move. Now he's all over the place. I was like, oh great, I got a dancer now.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. That's awesome.
Hey,
and I was going to ask you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, dear. No, go ahead.
I said, believe it or not, my son's already been in one film and he's already done a documentary.
Oh my God.
My agent asked me if they would be able to use Benji. He was 1 week old. I said, sure. I think he's okay with that. So, so he was a baby in a feature film. And then I had a documentary that I did about pregnancy and medication. And you have, sometimes like when you're in depression mode and you can't take meds, what happens is, and so the whole documentary was done. And then they came back. It was a Maryland production. And then they came back and reshot. Benji was in that as well.
Oh my God, that's so sweet. And and it's weird too how I've noticed that because obviously I'm a professional writer, and so my son has written himself a book, etc. It's funny how sometimes we rub off on them without trying to rub off on them. You know what I mean? Like we try to influence them to a certain point. But that is absolutely really cool. Now, to those of you who don't know, of course, Victoria herself is actually a dancer too as well. So I'd like you to talk a little bit about your experiences in terms of what sorts of professional roles you've had dancing wise, and is that rating as high in the list as actor? I'm okay. I cannot talk. Acting is it as high up on the list as acting is for you?
Well, dancing for me is more of a passion, something I wanted to do as a little girl. And believe it or not, I started dancing when I was 18. Because of my acting, I'm really good at memorizing. So they were like, wow, you're great at choreography. I was like, yeah, I just memorized what you guys are doing. I don't know if I'm doing it properly, but I memorized it. So I do dance because of the fact that it was easy for me to look at what they're doing and like mimic. But, so I'm not going to say that I could dance like right off the bat. I mean, I do hip-hop, salsa, belly dancing, and pole dancing. And the good thing is the pole dancing actually led for 2 roles. And so I was a pole dancer in 2 feature films, and it was good because it purposely put me in that role because I was the only one who could possibly do it. So that actually worked out very well, and it led me to other roles down the line. So dancing does have a benefit because it starts narrowing down your acting field quite a bit when you have multiple talents. Like I did Glee because I was an ice skater, and they needed some feature ice skaters, so then that's how I did Glee. So, you never know what talent leads you to a bigger role. And so I just keep on adding more talents to my toolbox.
Nice. And she has an extensive toolbox, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, because we'll continue talking about all that good stuff. And I'm a huge fan of you now because you belly dance and I can't because I'm fat and I've had children, so that's okay. And I also see that you can do the whole pole dancing thing, so I'm sure your boyfriend's happy about that. Did I just say that? But I'm sure it's probably a nice bonus. Okay, so explain this to me. There's such a thing called booty. I can't even pronounce it. Bare. What the heck is that all about? I'm like, she can booty whatever. I'm like, what's booty whatever? What are we talking about here? What's happening with that?
Booty bar. Booty bar is an exercising class. I would call it, it's like ballet. But you're basically at the bar and you're doing different stretches and different to help with your flexibility. So it's a whole flexibility class. So it's very crazy because it's like, putting your leg over your head and, things that you never think you would do. But it's a whole lot of strengthening of different muscles you're not used to using. Especially in your legs. There's so many muscles there. And you're like, oh, that one hurts. What's going on? You don't use it because the other muscles compensate it. So booty bar is all about strengthening different kind of muscles that you're not used to using.
Well, look at that. We're getting an education, folks, apparently, booty bar today. We also know, because I pay attention, that you reprised your role as Hannah the Quaker in the 4th of July parade. How'd you get hooked up with that? She actually played a Quaker, folks. She dresses up. She gets in the parade. She's all down with that. What up with that? How did that happen?
I believe it or not, you never know who you're going to meet on set and then whoever you're going to date while you're on set. I met my boyfriend, believe it or not, on a set at, it's called William Penn Manor, and what it is it's all about where William Penn used to live. And my boyfriend plays William Penn, and he's been doing it for many, many years. And believe it or not, they're like, wait, we need Hannah Penn for the parade. And my boyfriend's like, well, my girlfriend could do it. And believe it or not, Hannah and William we are the exact age that they would have gotten married. Because of the age difference, Hannah was way younger than William, and so we actually played very well. So it was great fun.
Oh, I imagine so. And you look so cute like that. You almost look like an Amish person, but I'm sure you've heard that before. And she does. You look so cute in that sort of character. That's another thing that I like about you so much is the diversity. You can go on stage and then all of a sudden you're playing, this zombie or you're doing this Amish haunting movie, and then all of a sudden she's turning around, she's doing this. So diversity is very important, but you obviously already know that. One of the things that I found out about you is, and I don't know if you daily meditate, but I know that a lot of the performers that I talk to and people that I know in general have said that meditation can be used as quite the tool in terms of getting in tune with yourself, because oftentimes as an actor or actress, that's key, I'm thinking, or fundamentally important. You know, if you have a better understanding of you can have a better understanding of your craft and perform better. So talk to us a little bit about how meditation, how you get into that, and more so how it plays a part in your life, professionally and personally.
Yeah, definitely. Meditation is more of keeping a balance. For our industry, everything's not, set in stone. Everything's all over the place. You don't know what you're going to do from day to day. You don't know when the next paycheck's coming in or anything like that.
Right.
So meditation keeps you balanced and focused and stabilized, keeping your feet on the floor kind of feel. And for me, meditation helps me just keep myself centered on my objective, like what I really want and my goal, and just keep focusing in that direction. Because once you start losing focus of your goal, that's when you start losing, you're a little bit off balance on where you want to go in life. And that's meditation does, is keep you on that straight and narrow path to focus on where you really want to go, and not get too off course.
Right, of course. Well, and especially that is fundamental because, like we were talking about, your business has a lot of rejection. It's got a lot of competition. As I call it, the drama den, so to speak. And I hate to say it like that, but it's true. It's a lot of drama den within drama, so to speak. You know what I mean? So it's obviously very important to stay grounded there. I did want to make mention of this because I don't know if it's still going on or not, but talk to me about the Bon Bon It Girl competition because, yes, that's right, Victoria is trying to become a Bon Bon It Girl. Or have we missed out on that opportunity to help you out?
No, well, they did pick up the hostess, which is good. But
okay.
I am helping with the crew itself. So basically, she's been putting me on a couple of marketing things. I had a different radio interview and a couple of TV shows coming up.
Right.
And the good thing is, she has so many opportunities coming up. I could see myself hosting, but I've already done it, before.
Sure. Sure.
But that definitely is not my goal. I just wanted to make sure that I was on the straight and narrow with her, because I know she has so many projects that she will be looking for more people for. Yeah.
I gotcha. Okay, so now I get it. Yeah, because like I said, because we're looking to promote all sorts of different things, and I thought, oh, look at that. She wants to do the whole Bon Bon thing, which I thought was cool. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now, turning gears a little bit, because I know from an educational standpoint, I know that you had attended Rowan University, and I know that you've spent a lot of time at the Actors Green Room in terms of improving on yourself and your craft. There's numerous amounts of different acting classes that I know are out there. Well, for one, on a side note, I just was curious. Have you ever taken our mutual friend John Gallagher's classes? Because I know he's done classes before, and I hear good things about them.
Believe it or not, I took classes with John through Lisa Regina. She's my coach, and she brought John into her class to see us in our scenes. And so that's how I met John, and we connected through her. So he has seen me act before,
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, because I thought it's like we're all 60s. Honestly, I always feel like all of us are like 6 degrees of separation that are connected by John Gallagher because he just seems like the key, you know what I mean? Like he's in the middle, then you've got all these actors, directors, producers, of course, that kind of good stuff. Tell me what you have derived out of Actors Green Room per se versus some of the other educational tools or wheels that you've utilized before. What is most beneficial in your opinion about going there versus other places to improve upon yourself?
Places that I enjoy. The Actors Green Room I started with Jen Rudolph, and she was a big help because I did one-on-one with her, and she basically helped me figure out what my type was and where she could see me in the whole scheme of acting. I'm a very comedic actress, so that's where she said, you're going to break in with comedy. I don't know why you're doing drama, break in with comedy, So it's like drama, you have to, for me, I have to force myself a little bit. Comedy comes naturally. So therefore, you have to go with your strengths. Yeah.
Okay. I gotcha.
So I think Actors Green Room helped me see that. I think it really helped me start narrowing down and really giving me a focused direction. Like, you could take all the classes you want in the world, but if you don't see your homework, and know which person you need to meet in order to make up to the next level kind of feel, then you're just meeting all these people and not making any real relationships. So therefore, she taught me how to really narrow down who is comedy, who's going to be closer into what I need, and start targeting the right people and not just everybody.
Definitely. No, I agree 150%. And, you know, I hear oftentimes, too, what I find ironic about your statement is I would have never guessed, I would have never pegged you to even do comedy ever. I mean, and certainly, and that is a testament. Hopefully you'll take that as a good thing and not a bad thing, that I've just, everything I've seen you, and you're so very good in the horror genre. You're just so very good with the serious characters. So for me, trying to picture you on the flip side, it's just too funny. I'm like, oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine that. Have you done a stint with improv or some of these other things to try to practice out your comedy?
Yes. Yeah, I have done a couple of improv classes.
Okay.
I have focused on a lot because I did the Renaissance Fair, which is, you know, it's I don't know if you know what the Renaissance Fair is. But it's
my God, it's on my list to ask you. You did the New Jersey Renaissance Fair. I worked the Renaissance Fair once too, so I know exactly what it is. But go ahead. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So in a nutshell, I did it for 2 years, and for them, the lessons you learn while you're doing that is all improv because you're constantly just off the fly of your head interacting with everybody else. So therefore, we did many practices with improv. And it helped me, like, build that self-confidence. And the crazy is some of the films that I'm in, a lot of them like to say, okay, throw off the script and just do it the way you would do it. And most of the time, they will take my improv over their script. So that's a...
Oh, my God. Holy mackerel, look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because, I mean, once you connect with your character, you know what they would say, what they would do. And especially when it's a comedy, it's easy for me to just jump right on board with that. And
Sure.
And it's quite funny.
Well, I'll be curious to see that actually too, because like I said, I always think it's neat, like when an actor goes, well, I call it avant-garde, which isn't exactly the right term, like when Denzel Washington did that's American Gangster, I believe it was, because, you know, he's the traditional good guy. He's the John Q guy. He's always a really nice guy, and all of a sudden here he is, this really nasty, mean character, and I thought to myself, oh my God, he's as good as this as he is at what he regularly does. So that's usually a testament to that actor or actress that you can do that. That's awesome. Not that I doubted that, because there's nothing Victoria can't do, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Now we're going to expand out a little bit farther, and I want to talk about, I didn't realize that you had written back in 2015 the documentary Gayborhood. So yes, she has written. Talk to me about this production and writing a movie, and in particular a documentary, which is a little different than doing a regular movie. Talk about the challenges of doing a documentary. Give us a little summation of Gayborhood. And can we find it anywhere?
Oh, yeah. Gayborhood is my friend Tony's production, and we worked on it together. His focus was on this documentary, because it's like there's different angles you can have on every documentary, and this one was more focused on, you know, like perspectives and what people think, and you know, like the true meaning, like what does it mean to be, you know, to be gay and all, you know, so it had a whole different twist of a meaning behind it. And once he was done shooting, he's like, okay, I need your help. I need you to edit. And because I graduated with an RTF communications background, I could do everything behind scenes as well as on front of the camera. So I edited for him, and we put it together and created it,
Nice. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
And so now, is this a production that we could find like on YouTube, or did you produce it and put it anywhere? Is there a copy where we can find it, watch it?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. You would have Tony Angelo. If you type in his name, it will pop up under his stuff. And he's starting his own TV station that he's putting all of his films and whatnot on there. Yeah, so a lot of the things I've done were for him as well, so you'll see a lot of my stuff up there, you know, acting-wise as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because of course, obviously, a lot of times when people hear about films and things like that, we never know where to look for them. But now we live in this technologically advanced age, and you know, I'm not very technologically advanced, but, you know, nowadays you can watch like just about anything. I mean, literally, and the video store days are gone, and it's like everything's online, et cetera. I mean, in some ways good, some ways not so good. I don't know. We'll see. But I just found that intriguing. I'm like, that's awesome that she was part of that production. Another thing you do, which is modeling. Now, I have this really cool modeling question because I have modeled myself. So this is what I want to know. please, for the love of God, because you are a taller girl, tell me something. Why in God's name are you so much more popular because you're tall and I'm short? Because I see this all the time. Must be at least this tall. And I'm like, what the hell does she have at 5'12" or 5'10" or whatever that I don't? So can you explain that to me? Because I don't get it.
I think mostly for models, when they need tall people, they need people with long legs. For some reason, with models, if you have long legs, you've got it made. I don't know the image of a model. She's supposed to have long legs. I don't know why. So when you're tall, most tall women, they're all legs.
Okay.
And so that's easy for them to work with, I guess.
Understandable. Now tell me something, because your schedule is so nutsy busy with the acting side of things, I would surmise that modeling is something that's kind of on the back burner for you. Or do you still get do you have adequate time to be able to participate and shoot often enough? Not many of my modeling. I did a runway a couple of months ago, but that was mostly like, the most I've done with modeling so far. I mean, a lot of my modeling also does with music videos. I usually do a lot of that for music videos as well. So I would say I do mostly acting, but my modeling will come in handy if they need it for an acting gig or for music videos. So. Sure, I gotcha. Now, from the acting side of things, has there been something so far that you haven't tried as of yet that you want to try? Meaning like, okay, I did this type of role, but now I want to try this, or maybe some sort of production, or delve into something you've never done before? Is there anything out there besides,
definitely.
The lead?
Well, I definitely want to have my own comedy sitcom. I definitely want to have that. That's a main target of mine is my own sitcom. I've actually written a few web series pieces that I haven't shot yet. I'm still in the writing process, but of my comedy, like what I could do in different characters. So it would show other people what my comedy's like. And it's in the starting process. I'm just trying to get people on board for the project and then, take it from there. Another thing that I really want to focus on is I am certified in unarmed fighting. And so therefore I can fight without weapons and not hurt people on set. And I would like to be in my own action film and do my own stunts. So that is my main objective. I want to jump off buildings. I want to do it all. Oh, my God. Listen to this. There's like not enough 24 hours. 24 hours is not enough for Victoria Stevens, thank you. She has lots and lots of goals here, apparently. But that's not a bad thing. You know what? Better to be an overachiever than an underachiever, I say. So that's absolutely awesome because, you're doing the modeling component of things. You're the actress. You got the dancing thing going on. You've written before, obviously. I want to talk about, which I didn't realize until I really dug into you, that you had done such an extensive amount of actual theater work. And one of the things that stood out to me is that you had done the production Glengarry Glen Ross, which is one of my personal favorites. So this is one I want to know about your theater experience. Some people talk about how they have a love for film, and then that's their love. And then some people, of course, equally or mutual, will do theater or plays and, web series, TV series, that sort of good stuff. Is theater something that, once again, is that more of a main backdrop for you? Because I can picture you actually being on a theater stage more often than the big screen, if that makes sense to you. Yes. I started in theater, so I definitely love the two different, the two different things about film and then theater. Film, you have to wait to hear the audience's approval. Whereas theater, you already feel the audience. They're already in the room. They already connected to different, jokes that you did, or they could feel, you could feel their energy. And so you share that energy with your audience. And that's what the big thing about theater is people love that energy that they feel with the audience, and it motivates them to do bigger and better and keeps them going. I had a thought about going on Broadway, but even though I can sing, I can't sing as much as some Broadway people can. So I would have to go and use my dancing to get on there. But the hardest thing for my theater is it takes a lot of more time than film. Like I could do about 3 projects of films in the equivalent of practicing and rehearsing for a theater production and having it go on and then it ends. So therefore, because of timing, I want to try and keep my acting as fluently, keep on moving along as it can. So that's why I do a lot more of film and TV than I do with my theater. Now that makes perfect sense. I totally get that. Okay. Yeah, because I saw the theater thing and I thought to myself, that
theater can be an experience with a much smaller audience, and the reaction and the things you're talking about can be hugely beneficial for any actor. And I've said that 100 times before, of course. But since she is an actress, we probably should talk about her big bulk of work when it comes to film and television, because that's what I'm excited about. But first of all, I want to say congratulations, because I saw recently that you won for Best Local Film for that new project at the Liberty Massacre Horror Short Film Festival.
Yes.
So we should talk about Vermilion, which is the one that freaked my child out and probably gave him nightmares for life. Thanks. So, yeah, about that, tell, of course, obviously nobody knows about the film, and we know that that's one of your more recent projects. So why do you think you won? What is unique about this particular horror project that made you want to sign on to the production? And then, of course, obviously, what do you think that main seasoning in that makes it a winner, obviously, because it's Best Local Film?
Well, definitely. Vermilion's based of vampires that run a hair salon is the premise of the movie. And so the reason why we're doing a hair salon is because we drug people and suck their blood out while they're getting their hair done, quote unquote. Okay. But they don't know it because they've already been drugged or whatever. So when they leave, they're like, "Oh, my hair is great, but I feel weak. What am I doing?" So therefore, that's the whole premise behind the film. And I think what attracts people about this film is because it is a horror film, but it brings a lot of comedy into the horror film. My character in itself is more the comedic atmosphere in the film. And so where they weren't sure, I actually wasn't supposed to be in that role. That was my friend who was supposed to be there, and she couldn't do it because of her day job. So she said, "Why don't you, Victoria, take a hold of that?" And so I stepped into the role like the day before we were supposed to shoot, and they were shocked at what I brought to the role. So they were like, "Oh, we got to keep all of this." And I played it really creepy. So I'm a very creepy vampire who is very hilarious all at the same time.
Oh, that is so funny. And I love that. I love a person who can put together a horror film that's got some kind of spin like that on there. It's not the traditional slasher / gore and this, that, and the other thing. And it is gross looking, like I said. But, he's 9 years old. I get that. But that's awesome, though. Absolutely awesome. So it's doing the circuit right now, which means, do you think it might get penciled for distribution, or we don't know yet, or too early to tell?
We're actually really hoping. It first went international. That was where the production was supposed to go. So it's already been throughout Europe. So at this point, it's coming back to the States, and we're hoping that he could still keep on pushing it and get it, to New York and L.A. So we don't have the rights to it yet until it's done internationally. So he's doing, and this is only the short. We have the feature that we're going to be shooting soon. So that was just short to give them a preview of what the feature is going to feel like.
Very nice. I like that. That's absolutely awesome. Terrific. Okay. Now, we want to talk about some of the TV things, and you started talking about it. Of course, you did the Glee thing. You've done Law & Order SVU. I know that back in 2012. I noticed in 2015 you had done 8 episodes of On the Beat, your Officer Kelly on the television series On the Beat. How did we get that? Because 8 episodes is nice. Very, very nice. Nice. Talk to me about that experience, please.
Yes. On the Beat is one of those TV pilots that's independent that I'm hoping and I'm praying that it gets picked up. It is 2 undercover cops and what they experience on the beat. It is basically it's a whole comedy show, and it's so much fun to play. And the director allows me to do a lot of improv. So she has the script, but I could take my character off of it. And things that she didn't think about totally came up, and it really flowed very well. There's one episode that I got to play a man, so that was quite interesting.
I bet.
And, it was so much fun. Everyone said I looked like a newsboy. I was like, okay, I like.
Oh my God, that is too funny. Oh my gosh, look at that.
I went all out. I said, okay, how do I walk? I had a guy try to teach me how to walk and talk, and it was really fun.
Got it. Okay, now that just throws a question right in my head there. And again, this is more so for the benefit of the kids out there that are listening that are wanting to get into acting, or even the thought of acting, let's say. Because you mentioned it was more of an independent type project, and you ended up getting connected with this. Tell me, or rather tell our listening audience, any quick tips of the trade in terms of how do you come across these sorts of opportunities? What do they need to be diligent about doing to try to get maybe ahead of the game, to get themselves in the game? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, On the Beat was a little different because the director actually came to me and offered the role. I didn't have to audition. But
okay.
to get these type of projects, I go on sites. There's different acting sites like Actors Access, Casting Networks, Backstage.com, Film.org. All these different sites are out there. Those are like the 4 legitimate ones. You have NY Castings as well, which is New York Castings. And they have these projects that come in every day. And I go before 12 noon, because most of the time after 12 noon, they've seen so many people already. Before 12 noon, I submit myself to 50 projects a day. Now, again, you're not going to hear from all 50. You're going to hear from maybe 1 or 2. But you never know who's watching what, who's seeing what on the other side. If you don't hear from somebody, it doesn't mean that they're not going to call you for a future project. So therefore, I keep on putting myself out there because there's sometimes when I met casting people, they're like, I don't know you, but I know you because you keep sending me your headshot. You never know, but now they know me because I sent them so many times my headshot. And then they met me, and then they know what I'm all about. So I would say keep going, and also networking events are always the golden thing to do because all these casting, like these directors and producers and whatnot, are going to these networking events. If you have your business card and you're handing them out, they're bound to need you not now, but maybe in the future. You never know.
Well, right. That's just it. And every opportunity is an opportunity, I guess, in our opinion, no matter little, big, whatever have you. Totally agree with you there. Awesome. Okay, now let's flip over to the film side and talk a bit. She's been a zombie. She has been pretty horrific things. I could run down the list of all the naughty people that you've played before, but frankly, you scare me. Nightmare Next Door, Amish Haunting, Black Days. You're getting a trend here, right, kids? 2015, you did a little film called Kettle, and I know that because I reviewed that film, actually, saw it. You were a dead person in that, if memory serves me correctly. You were an actual stabbing victim, if I'm not mistaken there. And, of course, obviously, at 2016, Wiccan's Toll. She did this little film called Kill Club where she played the role of Katie. It scared the hell out of me. I don't like her because she's kind of mean. She looks like really mean, like don't mess, this is Internet Radio. Don't fuck with Katie. That's all I'm going to say about that one. By our mutual friend, Morris Paramore, who I actually met at the Brightside Tavern Film Festival, and I didn't even realize he had shot the Kill Club. And so I introduced myself to him, and I said, hey, I'd like to review your film. And what do you know? There's little Victoria Stevens, who I had known before I saw the film, and I'm like, oh, my God, there's Victoria. This is so exciting. So I have to tell you that Mr. Morris and I have had conversations, and I'm trying very, very hard if we can pinpoint each other to an actual time where we can actually speak to each other and see each other again in person. I'm doing this little calendar shoot, and I would like the Kill Club to be in it, which should mean that you'd be in my calendar with me. With your film.
That'd be so awesome.
I know, right? Wouldn't that be absolutely awesome? Listen, Morris Paramore, get your stuff together. That dude is so busy. I mean, and I'm thrilled for him because he just had an anniversary, I see, for his production company. Awesome. Way to go, Morris, and we love you dearly. But I'm trying to track him down because I'm like, again, in New York City, imagine doing 12 months with 12 different casts. 12 different movies. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to track all you people down to get to one place at one time, as you know, is not very easy. And I don't want to give away the premise. So tell the audience whatever you want to tell them about Kill Club, because what I find unusual about Kill Club is it's creepy, but it's not stalker, Saw, I'm going to cut you in half horror. You know what I mean? It's decent, for today's standards instead of the gore factor. So give it to them. Tell us about Katie and the Kill Club.
Yeah, the Kill Club is basically about this couple who is, most of you probably don't know social Darwinism, but it's basically survival of the fittest. You'll learn that in school.
Right.
Anyway, so it's based on these two people who kidnap people and put them in this sort of game to see who can survive the most and who's willing to kill to survive. And so my character is a babysitter in it, and I have a little girl that I'm babysitting, and they kidnap us while we're going to the food store. And then I find myself in this game, and I have to try and find the little girl that I was, that I'm babysitting, plus myself, and trying to get us both out alive. That is the premise of the whole story.
Nice. And we won't tell you what happens with Katie. We won't tell you what she does because, of course, that'll give away the entire thing. Had you known Morris, or did you and Morris have a relationship prior to this, or did you have to audition or cast for this, or how did this all come about?
I auditioned, definitely auditioned for this one, and he loves my character. Now, we started shooting this about a year and a half ago.
Oh, wow.
With Maurice, and yeah, and it was intense because I had to remember, if you look really, really closely when you see the film, you'll see a little bit of continuity problems. But yeah, if you look really closely, you'll find continuity problems. But yeah, so it was really funny because I was like, okay, we're going to finish this now. So it took about 2 years to actually get the whole entire film made. So it was really fun. And it was crazy. We started, half of the scenes were, a year, and then we finished it in the next year. So
nice, very, very nice.
And that's
gotcha.
how you know that you got your character down, when you can actually go right back into her and you're like, all right, I got her.
Well, right. That's exactly
it.
And she is truly believable. When I was watching you on screen, one of the things that again stood out not only was the intensity factor, because she's quite intense in this movie, but the timing and the way that she fits in from scene to scene to scene and all that good stuff. And she's just badass. I mean, that was the one word that came to mind. I didn't put that in the review, but I wanted to. I was going to be like, yeah, she's just one badass babysitter. That's exactly what came right to my mind. And it was very good, very fitting role for you. And again, I got to say, I saw the movie and it's creeper. I don't even know how you didn't get all freaked out from scene to scene. It's kind of nasty in that movie. I'm like, I don't know how you don't get creeped out in that basement or in that, some of those scenes. It's like kind of gross. I'm just saying.
It was intense. Most of that film was shot in the basement of a mansion. So.
Oh my God!
Really,
I didn't realize that. Wow.
Yep, in the basement of a mansion. So it was really dark and creepy. You don't know if there's rats in there. You have no idea.
Oh my God, I imagine so. And not to mention the fact, of course, I've always wanted to ask this to somebody. So like the director, for a fact, does he ever like scare the hell out of you on purpose? I know that sounds wacky, but like, you know what I mean? To get the full effect of, you know what I mean? Do they ever do that kind of stuff?
Right.
Like they force freak you out?
I haven't had it happen to me yet. Again, it's pretty hard to make me freak out.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty much, always try to be on edge when needed. But I haven't had that happen yet.
Okay.
I let my brain go and let it play games with me, because then that shows the character type. I let my brain do its thing. It can, your brain can creep you out even when you didn't want it to creep you out. So.
Oh, I know, right? I mean, it is. And folks, just so you know this, because we both know Morris, if you ever met him, you probably wouldn't even guess that he would do horror by trade, because he's just so mild-mannered, quiet the first time I met him, professional and very respectful. And I'm just like, oh my God, if only people knew what he did for a living, you wouldn't even believe it. Because I'm like, I totally would have never guessed he did something like that. It's just too funny. And I know recently you attended Hoboken Film Festival, and obviously I assume that the Kill Club was there, right? And that's what you were there for.
Yes, it was.
You got to meet Karate Kid, dude. I'm so jealous.
I know.
So jealous.
Yes.
What is he like, dude? I mean, seriously, Martin Cove is the bomb.
Yeah, he was really, like, we were all in the whole networking event area, where the drinks are and stuff. But he was really just chill. He was like, sure, let's take a picture, okay, good for me.
Yes.
And of course, seeing celebrities now doesn't faze me because I've seen so many and worked with so many.
Sure.
So it doesn't faze me anymore. I'm like, oh, you're just another person. That's cool. Let's take a picture, Because sooner or later, once you're in this acting business and you start networking and acting with certain people, they become your friends after a while. They don't become celebrities anymore. They're coworkers.
Sure. No, and I totally get it. Yes, I totally get it. Now, before I ask you about your other new project, I want to throw this out there because I never get to ask. I don't think I've ever asked an actor this before. I'm curious. So talk about a time that you were on set where absolutely everything went wrong, meaning that you've had the day from hell, so to speak. And how does that affect a production? Or has that never happened to you where it's always just been smooth sailing? Because I find that hard to believe. But I could be wrong.
No. Well, actually there was, believe it or not, it just happened recently. The project I came back home from L.A. that I was doing up in New York, that was actually a project that didn't look like it was ever going to, see the light of day. because a couple of the actors, we were all supposed to meet up in a Starbucks, and we were all at different Starbuckses. I don't know how the heck we did that. So we're trying to rendezvous all the actors together and couldn't find everybody. And so the time's ticking. I'm like, I thought we were going to shoot at 10 o'clock. So needless to say, we finally got everything, and then it started pouring, and the shoot we were supposed to do was supposed to be outside. And so we're like, oh, well, we can't shoot outside with all the equipment because then it'll be rained upon. So then we were waiting it out to see if it would stop raining, which it didn't. So then we had to change plans in order to shoot the entire thing inside in his studio. But then he didn't have the idea to shoot it in his studio, so then we had to look at the whole studio and see where we could shoot different scenes and what would look different. And so we that was tough, and people's schedules, were crunching time because it was like we finally started around 1 o'clock, and we were supposed to have started at 9. So this was a couple of hours holding. So it was a push and shove. You had the good thing is all the people on set were very professional, so we could really look at each other and get the scenes together. Sometimes you're on set and you cannot listen with the other person. You try your hardest and you just you don't get enough energy from the other person, to get it going. Especially with love scenes, so that's a whole different scenario in itself. But with this character, since I knew coming in what I wanted to show, so I could jump into the character right away when needed, But it wasn't looking. I mean, we were traveling all over the place in New York trying to find people, which was hilarious. I mean, there's some parts where I just stopped and there's geese on the ground. It's like, I'm just going to feed the geese. I'm just sitting there feeding geese.
I get it.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, see, look at that. It happens on movie sets as well as everything, radio, you name it. It's just people don't usually talk about that. You think you watch a movie and you're like, oh, that must have been so fun on set. And then sometimes actors are like, you don't know the hell, the 15 hours of waiting to shoot one scene and then this and then that. So it's kind of like, I give you guys huge props because you must have serious passion if you were willing to wait around and inconvenience your life and your schedule just to get that one shot or that one moment. That's absolutely amazing. I find that incredible.
That's still dealing with jet lag on top of that.
Oh, yes, that's right. Not all of you guys are in one central location, so kudos to you on that. Now, the last thing that I want to brace, which is your new project coming up, which is photo shooting. You have a lead that's coming up in this particular production. So I want to make sure we talk about that, and when can we expect to see something like that coming out?
Okay, well, a photo shooting is the project that we were just doing, that we were just talking about, which is good. And that is, we have a couple of days lined up to shoot this. The director used to work for Lionsgate, so he has a lot of connections. It's definitely a comedy, and so we're going to shop it around to a couple of networks, and it has a really good potential because it basically shows the unorganizing mess behind the scenes kind of feel. It's like a set on a set kind of feel because you're showing.
Oh my God, cool!
What possibly could happen that's bad does happen. I, of course, play a diva, which is hilarious, because I'm totally not one, so I'm playing opposite of what I really am. And it was just so funny because, to overemphasize, and I'm a model in this one, too, believe it or not, talk about modeling. I'm a model who's a diva in this series. So, it's funny.
Oh, my God, how funny is that? Okay, so you guys are, of course, shopping it around, and our hope is that sometime this year it would be picked up, et cetera, or whatever the case may be, or we don't know yet. Still waiting.
Yes, definitely. He's going to start leaking it, quote unquote, through a couple of sites that he has. So to see because he's really because his company's leaking it, to different other companies, and see if they're going to get on board. So it's like we want those companies to come on board. They come on board, and then it gets even bigger and bigger. So it's a whole. I mean, the director, I definitely can trust him with this one. Like he has a lot. Like behind the scenes, he's already thought about a lot of things, and so it's good to have somebody who knows what they're doing, so that I don't have to worry about doing his job as well as mine, which is really nice. Yeah,
exactly. No, I totally get it. I do. I totally do. Well, look at that. We have made it through an entire hour. Holy man, did that go quicker or is it just me? You know what I mean? I get on these shows and I'm like, Oh my God, it's like an hour already? Because it's like you're just talking, which is like I think the coolest part of doing this format. The radio format. Like tomorrow, I'm coming to New York and I'll be doing a live interview, and that's so much more different. I have to look pretty, and then you have to like have all the right questions. And I'm in my pajamas right now. I'm literally in my living room in pajamas talking to the Victoria Stevens. So it's like this is so awesome, absolutely awesome. Now, before I forget, I have a couple business things here before I let you get back to the rest of your day. And before I forget, so are you out and about? Will you be at the festivals? Can I run into your pretty face again? Because I am coming for Golden Door. I wasn't sure if you're going to participate in Golden Door or not.
I am going to try and get there, yes. I'm working on a couple of scheduling conflicts, but yeah, I'm going to try and get over there.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I definitely have to attend. Bill and I have to do a photo shoot there, and I'm going to be screening some films, and it would be nice to see you while you were in the film. Do we know if Kettle Club is in the film yet? I mean, in the festival yet? Because I didn't hear.
I'm not sure. I think I have to track him down to see what he's thinking.
Yeah, I kind of figured as much. That's what I thought. Okay. Now, before I forget, because she is a working actress, we all know that she has an IMDb page. So, of course, go to IMDb to take a look at her. Obviously, I've prefaced her Facebook a million times over, so definitely check her out on Facebook. I also came across, now, is the website something that I should be referencing, or have we not updated that? I just want to give out current information, or is that someplace that folks cannot go to? Is it not updated, or what's the status there?
I'm updating the website again because I just updated my reel while I was in California.
Got it.
I'm re-updating just the images on there. Like a lot of the stuff is really updated, but the video itself has to be re-updated. So all my brand new.
All right. Okay, that's what I thought. Because, of course, she has her Victoria Stevens on the Wix.com where she has her website. But like I said, I didn't want to necessarily reference it if it wasn't completely up to date and all that good jazz. So we didn't necessarily want to talk about that. So before I forget, the last thing that we do on this show, because you've never been on here, is I get to take some time to tell you what I think of you, Victoria Stevens. And I will make sure that once we get finished, just to let everybody know, our episode today is archived, which means you can go back and listen all year round to myself and Victoria. It becomes an archived episode for everybody to listen to. Certainly, of course, I'll keep fans and followers advised, just like I will with you, Victoria. Hopefully, if Morris and I can get it together, you'll be in the shoot with me, in which case then you'll see the actual written review. It'll have links for everybody, including the movie, and then, of course, pictures of all of us together, hopefully in a place that kind of correlates to the film itself. And then everybody will get a chance to find out about the Kettle Club because it'll be in a calendar. So that's the hope, is to support independent film through this entire calendar. So knock on wood that Morris gets it together. So nag at him if you would, please. I'd appreciate it.
No problem.
So here goes. These are my thoughts of Victoria Stevens. I have to tell you that one of the things that stands out most to me about you is that your smile hides 100 things. It hides the one side of you that's a very haunting, very intensified actor. It hides the side of you that I have seen where I have noticed the picture of yourself and your son, and I thought to myself, this is truly where you can see her heart resonates more so than anywhere else. She has another side to her that's very comical, very playful, and that very funny side where I can see hopefully will eventually come out one day in front on the stage or improv or whatever have you, or hopefully on the big screen, we would like to think. You have done a number of miraculous things. One of the things that I find so profoundly interesting and moving about you is the fact that you are so supportive of your colleagues, other individuals, and of other projects as well. In this day and age and in our industry, not everybody is so welcoming and forthcoming about literally saying, I support this person, I support what they do and how they do it, and in the manner in which they do it. And I think that that's a very, very, very big thing to be proud of. You're an absolutely lovely person. You have a wonderful heart and a great personality. And I'm very proud to know you. And I'm even prouder to be able to say that I have witnessed and I've watched your work. I've been able to write about it. And I got to experience the Victoria Stevens in one of the best capacities she works in, which is she acts, but she loves what she does, and she puts all of her. She's got the me factor to her. So I'm just very impressed and so happy that I got you on my show. I'm so happy that I know you. It's just a privilege. That's all I can say. You're quite welcome.
Thank you.
Definitely. I'm just so glad we finally got this done. We've been talking about doing this interview for like forever, and I've been on a hiatus forever, and now, things are finally starting to come together. And in 8 years, then you'll be able to interview, or I can interview you in person because I'll be living there in New York City. So, but then you'll probably be in LA, and it won't, well, we'll see. We'll just see how
I fly back and forth, so we're good.
Yeah, we'll definitely make sure we can do that. Yes. So definitely. I'll make sure that I'll keep nagging Morris. Please do the same, definitely, and keep me posted on the whole thing, because it would be nice to see you at Golden Door. I'd love to get caught up.
Sounds wonderful. Yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, you're free to go. I'm going to let our little listening audience know how to find you one more time, wrap it up, and hopefully I'll get a chance to see you in the near future, my dear. I'll be in New York popping around this weekend.
Wonderful.
I'm just not sure where yet. All right, dear. Good luck. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Sure. Bye-bye. Tell me that she was an absolutely lovely little Victoria Stevens. Once again, I want to remind everybody, of course, as a working actor, she has an IMDb profile. She has a personal page on Facebook, and as she had mentioned, I want to say, Victoria, if you look online and type in Vicki Stevens, actress, you will come across her actual Wix website, but give her a little while because she's got to update things, put the reel on, all that good jazz and stuff. Kettle, of course, as well as the Kill Cover, both independent productions that I have both reviewed and seen, and also had the privilege of working with the directors in terms of getting this production together for the calendar. So hopefully with any luck at all, if you get my calendar, at least one of these productions will be in there. Huge thank you once again to Victoria Stevens for coming on the show today. Even bigger thank you to my wonderful intern, Tori, who has been instrumental in not only organizing this, but many other interviews and organizing me. So thank you so very much. I want to say that we're going to have an interview tomorrow, but my guess is probably not. I'm going to be just setting off to New York City for the weekend where I'll be interviewing live the cast of The Brooklyn Banker. Very, very excited about that. Curious to see what that movie is going to be like. I'm also going to have new information for you next week about upcoming shows and the new platform, as it was mentioned on the website, also on my Facebook page. As of today, these were my 2 interviews where I was putting online for people to be able to get a sense of what I do, who I interview, and my writing style. As of next week, my very first interview, which is August 9th, will be with Georgia Durante, and that's at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. As of the 9th, from now on, I will be posting up the new format, meaning I will no longer be on Blog Talk Radio, but another format. You will need to be subscribing to either one, if not both of the shows, to be able to gain access. Sun Spotlight, of course, is my Biker Relative show, which is all things biker, as well as cast of Sons of Anarchy. My main show, the one you're listening to now, Sin's Chat Corner, is just basically a hodgepodge of everybody: actors, producers, directors, musicians, artists, reality TV, celebrities. Michael Madsen, if you're listening, yes, that would include you, because we all know in my head he's already been on the show. So, long story short, obviously we're playing catch up. 8 months of being off wasn't coincidental. Obviously I need to get my life back in order after having months and months and months and months of sick children and all sorts of circumstances. So 1-year subscription will be $15 per show, which means $30 covers you for an entire year. After said point in time, we might very well switch to another format. But for right now, we'll do this. It's $15 a month. That's $1.50 a month if I had right, maybe a little bit less. So I'll definitely be posting up the new way to subscribe, the new format, same show, just better guests, of course. And wait for next week, because we will have a major announcement as to the big name that's going to be coming on, and that's an A-lister, or, well, at least in my mind, an A-lister, perhaps in your mind, a B-lister, and we'll let you know. Again, huge thanks to everybody who's listening, Victoria Stevens, also to Courtney Rashawn, also to Wes Levy, PR. You guys have yourself a great weekend if I don't talk to you, and we will see you next week on the airwaves.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you.
By wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you.
By wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.